Destiny 2 The Final Shape, aka the final meme, aka the final server, aka I spent 15 hours on this legendary campaign and I'm still recovering from it. This video is my experience with the full playthrough of the legendary campaign. Yes, I'm even going to be talking about the mission after the raid got completed, which is a whole story for later, but consider this a my experience style video, but also massive spoilers ahead. I'm literally going to be showing you guys my gameplay, giving my opinion on this expansion, and so much more. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. To start off, let me give some context here. I took off a whole week of work to grind this expansion week 1, also knowing that day 1 was going to be a content heavy day. I started stream 30 minutes before servers went live to give myself some time to get into the game, and when the hour struck 12, I booted up Destiny 2 just to be greeted with the message, "We seek an end to suffering. Why do you resist?" Well, I'll tell you why I resist, because I have no will to live and I have to see the story out because it's been 10 years. And the witness responded by making me sit in a server offline screen for over an hour while my best friend sat in the game waiting for me to join. I'm not kidding, this literally took about 90 minutes off of the first bit of Final Shape dropping, which was already a mood killer, but I was still determined to get this game rolling. So like I said, 90 minutes later, I finally get into the game. And once I loaded into the game, I got the beginning cutscene and then was asked, what difficulty do I want to play this on? Instead of selecting, I said, fuck that, I want to see all the new stuff. So I literally took another hour looking at everything new in the collections page. Yep, I am that guy. Please judge me harshly in the comments. After it was all said and done, we finally loaded up the first mission, Transmigration. And I gotta say, I was both impressed and disappointed in the beginning of this mission. Look, don't get me wrong, I love seeing us fly into the Traveler, but I couldn't help but notice that I still can't fly my own ship. We've had 10 years and I still can't fly my own ship. Like, what are we doing, Bungie? Can we please get with the times here? Actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking back at this, it probably worked out in my favor because now I can't be blamed for whenever I crashed my ship right into the halfway point. Anyways, this mission was cool and I love traversing through this middle kind of area between space and the Traveler. Nice throwbacks to some areas on the way in is always a cool feature as well. We eventually find our way into the light, cueing another amazing cinematic cutscene. And honestly, looking back at these cutscenes, it's absolutely crazy the quality that was put into this. This is literally cinema happening. Like, why did they have to go so crazy onto this? Also, can we just take a moment and realize that, wait a minute, is that Venom? After the cutscene, we get brought back into this Kingdom of Hearts looking room, which again is cool and also has some really cool dialogue to further the story. Ultimately, this is us making our way into the Pale Heart. And I'll say it now, and I'll probably say it a dozen times in this video, but man, the Pale Heart is such a cool place. Hats off to the design team for this one. Not a single bad looking spot throughout this entire destination. Anyways, we traverse some more and get our first taste of prismatic abilities. And I gotta say, it was very confusing at first, but man, later in life, prismatic has become one of the best things ever. More fighting later, we make our way back into the old D1 tower. And yes, I know we've had it back since the 0 hour mission, but man, I miss this place. Can we please get the old tower back? Like actually the real tower back. We also encounter a bit of the witness here, which honestly makes him feel more threatening, but also less threatening at the same time. For some reason, whenever the big bad boss comes by to kind of halt us from continuing on in the story, and we clearly make it look like it was the easiest thing in the world, it makes me feel like that he will be an easy boss later on. Yeah, I could not have been any more wrong with that last sentence, by the way, and you'll see later in the video. Anyways, we progress along and find our old friend Cade 6. God, I miss this guy's humor and just him being around. He just has a certain aura around him that I just love so much. Anyways, he's looking for Crow, which means that we are also looking for Crow, so that leads us into the end of this mission. Oh yeah, and another cutscene of Cade's experience for this guy. Kind of got to feel bad for the guy. Literally 7 years he's just been kind of sleeping in the unknown and immediately woke up, thrown into the Pale Heart, and started fighting Crow. Kind of dick if you ask me. Conversation with our ghost later, we get the seasonal artifact, which for us is great because we stack bounties to level boost to help us out later along the road. Well, that turned into being kicked out of the servers and stuck waiting to load in for another 30 minutes. And eventually, we get back in the game and load up the second mission, Temptation. This mission leads us looking for Crow and his ghost. Something about his ghost can't find him or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Let's just say Crow is being Crow. We get a first look at the next area of the Pale Heart, and again, the design team killed it with this one. After some detouring and some exploring of the area, we turn 3 clocks back into the right time and we fight a giant Taken Cabal. Killing it, we traverse even further along the path and find a chest with some more pieces of of our prismatic super. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, when we got the super, we didn't get all of it necessarily. We've got to find all the little bits and pieces that we don't have along the way. So this was the first chest leading to this, and there will be many more that I kind of cover and kind of don't cover. Just know that pretty much every single mission, there's going to be one. After that, we get to see some memories of Crow, Saladin, and Alderaan, which is just Crow in evil form, I guess. Then we end up finding real Crow at a giant statue that we've seen a couple times in previous DLCs. Although we do learn that these statues have souls of those who believed in the witness, and they are reaching out to us. So, you know, like, that's a thing that's happening apparently. Anyways, that ends that mission. We go back to watch Crow and Cade talk, which, even though it's been 7 years, this is still super weird to me. Besides that, we have a little one-on-one sesh with our ghost, and now it's on to the next mission. I'm gonna butcher this mission's names, but Exegesis? Exegesis is the third mission, but before we can play it, the servers decided to play with too much electricity and send currents to anyone trying to play their game. Not like this game's servers were offline 25 hours prior to all of this to fix this from happening, but you know, what do I know? I'm not a Bungie dev, and I'm not even a server guy. I just play the game, and yeah, that's about it. After some detouring to the tower and messing with one of our clan members that we ended up finding in the tower, we eventually squeeze by the bad servers and continue our story. Now we're hunting down Ikora and seeing if she is still alive. We seem to see smoke from her ship, so the odds may not be in our favor. The path to get to her is consisted of two things in a nutshell: Gambit and mixing light and dark like the Prophecy dungeon. Skip along in the mission and we eventually get another prismatic chest and find Ikora, you guessed it, not fighting all the enemies around her. I kid you not, we ended up finding her sitting on this little hill, and she was literally sleeping while all these enemies were fighting around her. Typical Ikora activities. And that's coming from a Warlock main, might I add. Anyways, we save her from all the ads, and thus the mission ends. We get a cool cinematic talking about the darkness and how it makes all of us see what we want to see, aka salvation. Up next was a super wholesome moment between Cade and Ikora, and we have a talk again with our ghost, and then it's on to the fourth mission, Requiem. Now, if you haven't figured out the pattern of these missions, you'd be lost if I just skipped this mission. So to sum it up, we hunt down Zavala, find him at his old house fending off his land, but just before we can save him, the witness casts the servers to kick us out for about another 90 minutes or so. Mid-mission, might I add. Yep, the good old Bungo servers striking again. Anyways, once we get back in, we completed the mission and learned that just some downright sad storyline about Zavala. Listen, I verbally bullied this man for so many years, and I just feel nothing. Get Zavala. No, but for real, it is actually really sad. The fact that, like, Zavala literally thought about killing himself just so he could be with his kids. But you know what? That wraps up this mission. Once again, the witness is preventing us from getting back into the game. Something to do with currents or something. I'm not entirely sure. We realized that we'd also missed a cutscene because, again, servers are not serving. So we watch it off of Dado's VOD. Shout out Dado, by the way. At some point, we get back in just to see the dialogue that Zavala and Ikora have before getting error-coded again. I'm not kidding. This is seriously, I can't count how many times we get error-coded in the middle of something this entire stream. An hour or so later, we get into the next mission, Ascent. In this mission, we make our way to the divide within the Pale Heart. Again, love the nostalgia feeling here. Anyways, we get the truth about how Cade is even here. According to Crow, it was his wish to bring him back, which is great to hear. Also kind of dick to hear because I think collectively the community has all wished that Cade would come back for 7 years, but you know what? I digress. It's not like we have Armakars to wish on anyways. Back to the mission, we ascend the mountain and progress through the place where we first started Destiny. Weird kind of going backwards, but a nice trip down memory lane. Then we end up, I kid you not, where it literally all began. That little pile of dirt next to the Walking Dead bridge full of cars. This time, however, we gain more than just our life back. We gain a new super ability. Since I was a Warlock, I got a new solar super. Imagine D1 self-res, but instead of self-resing, you just throw infinite grenades. Literally, what is Sunbreakers even doing in the game at this point? Also, the super throws like little tracking solar bird grenades, which I hated at first, but as time's gone on, I actually really dig this super. It is busted for DPS. Anyways, back to the story. I'm just flying around, testing out the new super, and then the mission ends. We meet up with Zavala, Ikora, and Crow as they realize they are drawing closer to the witness. We have a conversation with our ghost, and then on to the next mission, if you will. Well, honestly, it's not even really a mission. It's just a way for the game to introduce the lost sectors to us. So we explore all 3 lost sectors just to find a message in each one, getting us closer to the witness. However, the last part ends with us making a Hive wizard friend, which I discovered after pumping a load of bullets into her. Kind of cool that we get a friendly Hive wizard that actually serves a purpose in the story. Big fan of that. Once we find what we're looking for, Cade shows up to touch the light, but it touches him back inappropriately. It gives him a hint into how to stop the witness, and that sends us off to the next mission, which ironically is a strike. Liminality was by far one of the best DLC strikes that I think I've ever played. It had so many different scenes and just some huge story development here. Zavala finally growing a pair after all these years that we actually need to fight them back head on. For once, Zavala and I agree on something, and we push on forward. The final boss is in a room that I am convinced convinced is connected to the Chamber of Secrets from Harry Potter. Look at this place. Tell me this isn't similar. Once we defeat the boss, we progress to the next mission, Descent. This mission, I think, was a huge character development for Zavala. We get to see the leader of the Vanguard, who wanted the peaceful route all this time, turn to the commander wanting to sacrifice himself for the greater good. Or so I thought. He really just wanted to die and be with his family again. But being the buzzkills that we are, we take Zavala's ghost and hunt him down. Side note, I love Zavala's ghost. He's so serious and funny, and I hope that we get some more from him.
Yes, you are.
Well, f me then. Yeah, so the mission ends with Zavala just seconds away from giving in to the witness and ends up losing his ghost and light all in the process, putting him on his last life. Moving on from that L moment, we have the final mission of the campaign, Iconoclasm. I really hope that's how you say it. This mission, boy, what a doozy. This one took so much time for us, and I'm just gonna give the highlights here. We know how to beat the witness, sort of, so we push into the lair. Along the way, Cade asked the infamous line again to Crow 7 years later, how is his sister doing? To where his sister then responds, I'm in the Traveler with the helm. After that, we are met with the biggest Shrek ogre I think I've seen thus far in this entire story, and then shows a whole new mechanic. Might I say, whoever thought about adding poisonous air to this game, congrats to you. You deserve a raise. Also, you're getting fired at the same time, because my god, having to rebuff every minute just made my pea-sized brain turn into mashed peas. Anyways, we figure out how to beat him, get a glimpse at a ghost graveyard, which I told my ghost if he keeps up with this bad energy, he's gonna end up here next. Just kidding, I love this little guy too much. How about we fast forward, because my god, this video is taking way longer than I expected, and we are barely halfway through here. So the end of this mission is just a baby boss fight with the witness. It could just be that I was super sleep deprived, but the boss was a killer. It took so long to do, which honestly scares me more than you think, because this was legitimately hard to me. The raid is only going to be 20 times harder than this, but somehow we get through it and we get the best cutscene in Destiny history, okay? Crow being able to switch supers from 2 types of guardians is absolutely nuts. Also, I'm convinced this man is hacking. And the witness very much seeming like a high-level threat, just made this story so much better. But when you boil it down, we basically spent all this time to scratch his head. Congratulations, you spent 14 hours to make a little scratch on his head. After this, we get pulled onto some exotic quest, one for a sniper called Stilled Hunt. Such a meta gun, if you ask me, and the story behind it is super cool too. You basically go on a bro adventure with Crow and Cade to find some dark energy to help you to defeat the witness or something like that. And I've learned along the way that Crow and Cade are arguably the best dynamic duo I've ever seen in a game. Even though these two hated each other for so long, they sure made up quick to become the 2 badass characters that they are. This one I don't want to spoil too much because it's just super fun to play, so I highly recommend if you haven't played it yet, please go play it because you will enjoy every little bit of it. But for the sake of this video, the biggest takeaway is Cade passes off the Vanguard to Crow finally after all these years. And I know he hasn't been around, but Crow can finally take up the Vanguard. I low-key have been waiting for this day, and now that it's happening, I'm actually really happy about it. I'm one of the few people who like Crow and his character development. Chef's kiss there. Anyways, now that I've said such a controversial sentence, the Destiny community was put on hold until raid launch. Now, obviously, I haven't done the raid yet because the raid took 19 hours for the first team to complete, but once that was done, it unlocked a 12-man activity for us to end the story on. So, me and Fig loaded up into the story, and this was literally the biggest Star Wars Avengers knockoff I'd ever seen, but let me tell you, it was a super badass and emotional mission. Seeing everyone finally come together, this was seriously one of the best moments I think I've ever seen in this game. And it literally felt like the Destiny 2 original trailer where we were all fighting for our lives, and this just takes it up like 20 notches. We eventually do get to fight the witness in like a baby raid format, I guess, and with 11 other people. And after about 3 damage phases, we end up beating the witness. Like actually beating him for good, because apparently in the raid you just kind of knock him out, so to speak. I'm not entirely sure on look, the raid was 19 hours. I didn't stay up the whole entire time. I stayed up for a good bit of it. Anyways, we did it. We beat the witness and we're done, so we think, until we see the ghost fly up into the air, basically losing the little bit of light, making us immortal again, which I'm not gonna lie, did bring a tear to my eye. And I kind of wish it just stopped there, because after that we see Cade come into the light and basically say, listen, I'm here for a reason. No one can decide my fate. I'm giving my light to your ghost so that you can live on and continue on your life. Cade made the ultimate sacrifice, and what better character to do it than him? He got a shitty death 7 years ago where he was killed, and now he finally gets the hero's death. Look, I love Cade as much as the next guy. I was super glad to see that he was back, but this was the correct way to send him off, and I'm not gonna lie, I was in a sobbing pile of tears along with Fig, and just like that, we beat it. We beat the Witness. We beat the enemy after 10 years. We then skip to a cutscene where we see all the Vanguard talking about how there's still some problems. And yes, even though the Witness is gone, the ultimate evil is gone, we still have things to do. So that's going to lead into the seasonal activity starting up on week 2. Also, shout out to Crow for growing a man bun. This man just continues to amaze me and make me like him even more. Love this guy. Can't wait to see more development from him. But yeah, that is pretty much Destiny 2, the Final Shape story in a nutshell. It has been a doozy. If you guys have played it, how are we feeling? Are we feeling good about it? Are we feeling bad? Should Destiny just stop here, or what can you see coming up in the story? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping a like. If you want to see more Destiny 2 content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for me. I do greatly appreciate it. I have the entire funny moments coming from this 15-hour stream very soon, so please be on the lookout for that, as well as some gun videos coming out very soon as well. I also stream all this stuff live on Twitch, so please go follow me on Twitch. The link is down below, but if you need to, go to twitch.tv/SirJBGaming. That is where you will find me live almost every day in the week. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, you guys know me. It's been your boy, SirJB. Get at me.